and this is a ripper of the Group A road car. Hello, this is BJ from Hearns Hobbies, and welcome to another episode of an unboxing. This time, a brand new Hasegawa kit. Now, this is special because this is a brand new tooling of a car kit, and they don't often create new toolings, and this is of quite a iconic car. So this is the Pulsar, or Sunny as it's known over there, the GTi-R, and this was a rally type car, I guess akin to what we're used to with the Subaru WRX. So where they got the WRX is a basic road car which has been converted into a rally car. Similar sort of idea here, and this is a sort of I guess I find it really interesting because the shape of the cars didn't alter very much, and they used these in a very heavily modified version to go racing. So this was built for the Group A racing, which superseded the Group B racing. I was a child of the mid-80s, and Group B was one of my favorites. So when it converted to Group A, this was designed for that. And you used to be able to see quite a few of these as private Japanese imports on the streets. You don't see that many anymore, but they are quite a awesome looking car because it just looks like a really meaty and muscly street car. All right, let's have a look inside. So we go to the top there. See, we've got some really nice box art. They've depicted a black version here. So Nissan Pulsar, or Sunny, the GTi-R from 1990. Fully new tooling, so really crisp interior. And you've got the intercooler detail there, and all over it looks really, really good. Okay, let's crack it open. All right, so it's fairly jam-packed full of bits. Have the bodywork on this side. So let's have a closer look at each bit as we go. I've got the clear parts here. Clear parts are always going to be hard to see. And then we've also got some decals and such in here. Now we've got some pre-cut window masks. They get stuck on the inside so you can do the black shadowing. Makes it a lot easier. And then we have the decals there as well. So how about we have a closer look at these ones? Where are we? There we go. So you got your decals, they're really crisp. You got quite a lot of numbers there. So this is it allows you to customize whatever number plate you like. This is Japanese style. You've got your instrument cluster. And then you've got like showroom plates as well, if you prefer those. Got some white Pulsars there as well, and some really small Nissans. And there's 3 different colors, so I think that all depends on what color you paint the Duco for which one suits the actual body of the car. Okay, and then there's a little bit of sunshade there for your windscreen as well. Here's a closer look at the window masks. I don't know if I can get the angle right, but let's see if you can see the pre-cut there. No, maybe I'm not doing that right. Oh, you might see it a bit like that. Okay, so they have labeled them so you know which one goes to the front and the side mirrors. Pretty obvious though. And let's go back to the clear parts. Okay, now they're going to be hard to see. Let's do it this way. So here's your rear windscreen. There's a lot of glass actually. Rear windscreen, if I get the angle right, you'll be able to see the lines of the demister coming through. And then we've got the tail lights. So you need to paint the red. Over here, what have we got there? Probably side indicators. And then we've got the glass. Okay, so we've got the passenger and driver side. You have your rear glass. Front windscreen. Where is it? There it is. Okay, there's a front windscreen. Some reflections coming off it. So as you expect from a fairly new kit, it's very well polished. If I put my finger behind it, see how clear that is? There's hardly any, what I'm calling for, distortion. Because some early kits are super thick clear, it gets really distorted. Okay, and as you can see here, actually, let's go over here. It's pretty clear, really good. And then we're left with the front end. Okay, so you get your headlight covers. And then they're probably the indicators, I'm guessing. The little triangular ones there. Okay, so from there, let's move on to, we've got a big bag of bits here. Okay, so everything is all jam-packed. Let's undo this and have a look at the bits as we go. Alright, so we'll start off with, got some chromey bits. So these chromey bits are generally on a car, used for anything that reflects, like the lights. So light buckets, it's getting right in there. I can't get the focus right, why is that? Let's focus on my thumb, there we go. The reflection makes it a bit difficult. But with these modern tooled kits, you can see how they've put a lot of effort into the bucket, so it looks really realistic. Some of the earlier kits, they used to be really bland in the back, which was a disappointment. There you got your tail lights, you got your rear vision mirrors. So it looks like there's a couple here, because while they designed this one, I think they also designed the rally version. So you probably get some bits here that you won't use on this version, which are designed specifically for the racing rally version. You get exhaust pipe here, and as I hold that, you'll notice that they've molded in these protective gates, which is really clever, because when they're packed together, you don't want things like that damaged. And there's all these other little bits and pieces. I have no idea what they are, but we'll see in the instructions. That'll clear it all up for us. Okay, so they're the chrome bits. Then we've got this bag here. So this bag's got all the tyres in it. And poly caps. So poly caps are there to allow for the wheels to turn around. And then we've got our tyres. Got the tread pattern there, so road tread. And then we've just got that bit of gate in there. You just need to trim it off before you use them. So on careful inspection, you can see where the gate is. So with the shape of this mold, they've been able to get it so that there's no visible mold line down the center. Quite often you see it right down the center. It looks really ugly. You sand it off, and you sand off most of your tread as well. But with this one, really clean. I like that touch. Okay, let's pop these back in the bag, and we'll look at some molded plastic bits. All right, let's get it back in there. There you go. Okay, let's see what we got here. We have some body panels. Okay, so the body's actually molded in black, so all these panels are also in black. Not a problem if you want to do the box art black on black, quite easy to paint. Any other color, not so easy. So if you say want to do the white color or red, you'll need to prime this with either a white primer or a white base paint, which are very similar. Primers tend to be thicker. White base paint, which is available from Tamiya and also GSI Mr. Hobby, that'll be it's a denser pigment, but it's not as thick. So you'll need to do that. Even if you're painting a red, I recommend you either do a pink primer or a white primer for a really vibrant red. Let's get a bit tighter in there. There we go. So we've got, there's your front bumper, rear bumper. Let's spin around the other way and that'll be easier to understand. Okay, so the front bumper, you've got all the big grids there. Quite a deep design. So you've got a deep apron, very sporty. Then you've got your rear bumper, which is pretty basic. We've got the bonnet, which has got the infamous air intake. Okay, so this big massive bulge is sitting at the top. That's the first thing you notice when you see a car like this on the road. And that's where the intercooler sits, just underneath. And then we've got the side aprons. Mirrors, so these would be the road version mirrors. Over here, I don't know what that is. It's probably part of a parcel shelf or maybe something like that. And then we've got all these little bits, so that could be, what are they? They look like door handles. So door handles there. That's a filler cap. That's a plug. Because I think with the rally version, they'll probably have a quick access fuel. And then we've got the rear wing. Okay, so there's a big massive rear wing that sits at the back of the hatch. These things look mirror-ish. Maybe not, maybe they're part of the wing. We'll see. And then you got this aerofoil here. Okay, let's move along to the next chunky bits. Oh, let's get that back into a little wide. Okay, so grey molded parts with the floor pan and your door inserts. Okay, so the door inserts here. Nice chassis detail. There's the intercooler that'll sit underneath the bonnet scoop. Got the front radiator, which will be visible through the grille on the front bumper. You got sway bars. This one here, not too sure. Could be part of the exhaust. And then you've got the suspension over here. Now let me show you the detail that's in this floor pan. Just focus that up. See how it's got this really pressed look about it. I really like how they've achieved that. And then you've got your inserts for your doors here. And here's the intercooler. Intercooler and then radiator. Okay, from there we've got this little bit here. That'll go at the back. It's probably, is that a tank or something? I don't really know. Got exhaust obviously. A long piece. And there's another little bend probably for the exhaust. Okay, that's on that little piece. And then we've got some interior parts. Okay, we've got the dash. Okay, so this is definitely for the road car. It'll be totally different for the rally version. So there is a rally version being released. Okay, there's a dash. You've got the, what do you call this bit? This will be the windscreen wiper spot. How's that? That's pretty official sounding, isn't it? So that's a bit that supports the windscreen. Windscreen wipers, rear wiper as well. Get your number plates right there. Then we've got the center console. And then the gear shift. Nice. All right, so we've got another small sprue here. Again, the interior for the road version. So these are the bucket seats, a Recaro style. They're in two-piece. There's probably another one of these. Oh, there is. Okay, so there's actually an identical part molded onto a larger sprue. Okay, so there's two of these that I'm holding here. Got the wheels. And then there'll be the center hubcaps. Interesting, they've molded those separately. Maybe there's options, I don't really know. But there you go. So all looking very nicely crisp. Okay, so that's that bit there. Now let me show you this bigger sprue here. So this part here is what we just looked at. That's got the seats. So we've got two sets. So they're exactly the same as what we saw just before. The rest of this is the rear seats. Got the parcel shelf here, steering wheel, and then there's some other structural parts for the chassis that I can see. There's your rear seats, parcel shelf. That bit, not too sure. That bit, don't know. That bit, probably suspension. And then there's your steering wheel there. And that's got an insert as well, right there. So that center bit goes into that point. Okay, now from there we've left with one sprue, which is this one. So this has got the rest of the suspension components and other under chassis bits. So you got the engine and gearbox, you got the rear gearbox, you got struts, rear shocks, suspension arms, you got your tail shaft, and then sway bars, disc brakes. Let's have a closer look at that. All right, so there's your engine with the drive shafts. Here's the rear gearbox with the drive shafts because of a four-wheel drive machine. You've got your disc brakes with the calipers molded, sway bar. What do you call that? That's part of suspension. Oh, Hasegawa placard, which is quite interesting. Some chunky bits, struts and shocks. There's a strut there and a couple of shocks. There'll be arms for the rear suspension. We've got the pedals there. Front struts, I think. Steering rod. And then there's a tail shaft that we saw before. It's chunky, isn't it? Huge. Okay, so there are all the plastic parts. Let's have a look at the manual. Actually, we won't go there. This is the most important bit. Almost missed it. So here's the bodywork, and it's molded in black. And like I said before, black is not the easiest to paint. But if you paint it, you're going to paint a black one, easy peasy. Now, brand new mold, super clean, no flash at all anywhere. Really nicely molded. There's a couple of areas which appear to be sink marks, but they're not too bad. Might be able to see the reflection there, just on the roof there. I mean, if it is a sink mark, it'll be very easy to either just sand away or just fill. And then you see here, this is where the bonnet will sit. You have a little exposed area. This is where you'll put the intercooler. Bonnet goes on top, so you can still view the intercooler through the vents. And then you have all your bumpers that fit to the front, and then also to the back, and then you also got your aprons on the side skirts. Let's have a closer look. Okay, so what I was looking at before with the door levers, they are separate indeed, which is interesting. I think, why would they do that? That'll either allow for more detail. It's probably more detail because generally when you've got door handles molded, they look very two-dimensional. They don't actually go very deep. And looking at the depth of this, you probably have a lot more, what do you call that void where the fingers fit in. So that's probably going to be a lot more pronounced being a separate part. Okay, so you've got some really sharp lines, the rear end here. So you see the bottom, this is where you've got some mounting location points here, and that's where those little sink, you can see them there, little sink marks. But yeah, I can't actually feel them across the top. They will be there, so a little sanding will help that for sure. And then again, because it's so smooth, it probably worked out that they don't really do anything at all. Once you put a few coats of paint, you may not be able to see that. Okay, so all in all, it looks really nice. Really clean detail on the grille. I'm actually really impressed. Okay, there's locations here as well for what goes there. That's the indicator to fit in. So actually this point here, I would suggest that's only for the rally version, because you can't imagine there's already a fuel filler here. So that's the blank which will be fit in place, and if you want to make that look right, you'll probably want a bit of filler on that and sand it back. And looking at the box art, yeah, that's not meant to be there. So yeah, that's rally only. Okay, there you go. There's the bodywork. Super nice. All right, let's look at the manual. All right, here's a Hasegawa manual. We've got a description or a history of the particular car. It's actually got a antenna there too. I didn't notice that. It must be one of the long pointy bits. Probably not absolutely to scale, but at least they've included it. If I were to build this, I'll probably replace that with a bit of music wire to make it look a bit more scale in size. Okay, we've got a legend of all your parts. A paint guide down the bottom with the GSI Mr. Hobby numbers. And then we get into the construction. Okay, so we've got the floor pan. We're doing all the under chassis bits. You get the engine, probably the tank going into place. You've got the exhaust system, suspension, all the front suspension here. Actually, that's a rear suspension that's going in. You've got your drive shaft. So there's the main front rear drive shaft, sway bars. Then we get into the front suspension. You got your struts going in. And then we move on to the interior. So we've got the radiator at the front, center console, supports here for the rear seat. Move into the seat construction, front seats, rear seats. You get dropped in, and then there's a partial shelf. We've got the dash going in with the door inserts. We've got here. Then we start on the bodywork. Okay, so that's where that filler cap I was just talking about. That's the plug that goes over there. So yeah, you probably need to get that filled in a bit. Here's the bodywork with the areas that you need to paint black. All the glass going in place. That's explaining where to put the window masks. And then we have the front and rear windscreens, the light buckets, they get glued in, rear vision mirror, and then just flip it over. Body gets clipped onto the chassis. You've got all the finer details on the outside. You've got the windshield wipers, there's the intercooler, that's really important. That's one of the features of this car. You've got the headlight covers, indicator covers, and then we've got the door handles. They're going into place here. Rear light covers, and then you've got the big wing. So the rear wing has actually got those 3 sections. Rear bumper, rear insert here, front bonnet, front bumper, and then we do the wheels and the tires. That's a little skid plate. You got your aprons going in place. And then finito. So this is the painting and also the decal instructions. So quite a lot of little marks and paint codes all around the place. That's it. That's complete. Fini. Okay, so there you go. That is my open box review of the brand new Hasegawa Pulsar GTi-R. Now, this is 1/24 scale, and this is a ripper of the Group A road car that got released in 1990. So thank you for watching. If you liked that review, please give me a like. And if you'd like to see more content, please think about subscribing. So thank you for joining me.